Hi, I'm Nico, and welcome back to my channel, Nico Talks Hockey. Today, I wanted to go over, in my opinion, the 5 keys to success for next season for the Chicago Blackhawks. So, like the Chicago Blackhawks' dream offseason for a successful 2025-26 season. So let's just get right into it. For my number 5 key to success, the Blackhawks need to figure out their defense options. They need to figure out what's going on with the defense. What's their plan? So let's go over the right side. You've got Sam Rinzel now. Immediately comes into the NHL and is so dynamic. I mean, he's got a long way to go, but I think he's proven to a lot of fans, me included, and I'm pretty sure upper management, that he deserves to be in the NHL. So I think Sam Rinzel is there. Then you have Artem Levshinov, who, with him burning that first year of his ELC, I don't see him going to the AHL. So I think he'll stay in the NHL. And then you've also still got Connor Murphy. So you've got your right side of defense kind of already there. But the left side is where it gets really tricky. So you have Alex Vlasic, who's your top left defense option. Such a great defenseman. So he's got great shutdown abilities. Then you move on to a plethora of other people who you could potentially put in that second and third lefty spot. You've got Ethan Del Mastro, who I thought played really well in the NHL this season. He's going back to Rockford to help them for the Rockford Ice Hogs playoffs. But I think he brings an element, honestly, that I think is missing currently from the Blackhawks, which is that physicality element. So I think Ethan Del Mastro is an option for sure. And then you have Wyatt Kaiser, who I thought he had a great finish to the season. It was really strong. Kyle Davidson said as much in his end of the season presser yesterday. Wyatt Kaiser, I think he had an okay start to the season. He was sent to the AHL at one point, but when he came back in the latter half, the second half of this season, I felt like he showed that he really took a step in his development. And then you also have Nolan Allen, who, in my opinion, played really well for his first NHL action this season. Allen, they've experimented him, putting him on the left, putting him on the right. But the fact of the matter is that you still have another option there, and Louis Crevier. So by my count, that's like 8 defensemen. Now I know that Kyle Davidson has said that it's good to have competition on the back end, but I think that one of them at least is going to be, it looks like, to be traded sometime in the offseason before the next season starts in October. So yeah, my 5th key to success: figure out the defense plan and figure out who's going to be where, because it's got to get a little bit more solidified, and people have to figure out. I think the eventual coach for next season is going to have to figure that out. Number 4, my 4th key to success is figure out the second line center position. And that can be solved a couple ways. I think that if you want Frank Nazar, who's played in that position a fair bit this season, if you want Frank Nazar to fill that, well, then you can go that option. Personally speaking, I don't know if I like Frank Nazar more in the wing. On Bedard's wing, I think they play so great together. Or do you want him to fill out that second line center spot? I think it'll depend a little bit on who we end up drafting in the 2025 entry draft. But another option you can go with is to find a temporary option in free agency or trade. A name that sticks out to me, who could potentially, fill that second line center spot, but also move to wing in case they want to move Nazar down or any other options, is Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene, he's getting older and up there in age, but Matt Duchene has been fantastic on the Dallas Stars this season, and he's someone who I could definitely see filling that second line center spot quite nicely. Moving on to the number 3, the third key to success for the Hawks next season is the draft, and drafting a cornerstone forward for Connor Bedard, someone who could be on his line or at least help him out in the offensive categories, and be the Draisaitl to Bedard's McDavid, so to speak. So I'm actually going to be coming out with another video pretty soon talking about the different options for all of these keys to success. For the second line center spot, I have a couple different options of who might fill that role. And for this draft, I have a couple options in order of who I'd like to see most drafted. Is just to see who would best be fit to help Bedard for a long time in Chicago. My personal opinion is that Michael Misa would be the best option. Michael Misa is a fantastic prospect. He's lighting it up in the OHL. He can score, he can assist, he's a fantastic playmaker. Michael Misa would be my favorite option for who the Chicago Blackhawks might draft come June. So moving on to our second most important key to success in order to have a dream offseason. And I think this is pretty self-explanatory, is to hire a fantastic head coach. And so my first video on this channel was talking about who those options might be, but whether it's David Carl, or it's Jay Woodcroft, or it's maybe a coach that is fired soon once the playoffs get going, and maybe some matchups don't go certain teams' ways, and then they look to change their coach, and maybe the Hawks swoop in and pick one of those guys up. But they got to get this hiring right because I think it's paramount to not only the Hawks' success in the near and long-term future, but it may be dependent on Kyle Davidson's perception as how he's doing as a GM. I think he's done a fantastic job as GM so far, but when it comes to what gets a GM fired, if you get too many coach hirings wrong in a row, that could lead to it's nothing good. So number 2 is hire a fantastic head coach that can lead our young team and develop them and take them to the next level. And moving on to our last and number 1 key to success for the Chicago Blackhawks to have a successful next season and to take that next step is to find elite help for Connor Bedard's wings. I think that many fans can see that we have a lot of holes plugged. We have a lot of holes filled by the bottom 6. The defense, for sure. Now that we have Spencer Knight, we have our probable number 1 goalie of the future. The spots in the lineup that I think we need to address the most is left wing, right wing on Bedard's center spot. He is kind of on an island out there, and I know that Frank Nazar, whenever he's on his line, it seems to really work. So, if Frank Nazar ends up not being at center and stays on Bedard's wing, I think that's great. You still need, I think, a premier elite talent on Bedard's wing to help him get to that next level, that insane level that I know, and I know a lot of other people know that Connor Bedard can get to. So, there's a lot of options. It could be through free agency. There's not a ton of options in free agency besides Mitch Marner, who, oh my gosh, we got Mitch Marner. I and a lot of Hawks fans would be very, very happy about that. But, Kyle Davidson said this before, it's not a sure thing because so many other teams are going to want Mitch Marner. So, there's a couple of other options. Brock Besser, there's differing opinions out there about whether Brock Besser be a nice addition or the right addition for Bedard's wing. Nikolai Ehlers is another one. But, there's other options. You could go through trade. You can go through the offer sheet method. I know that's a little unpopular, but it might be becoming a little more popular after the Blues did it to the Edmonton Oilers last season, to Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. So I think if they were to get creative, if Kyle Davidson get creative, and one way or another bring at least one, maybe two elite options for Bedard's wing, I think that is the number one key to success for the Chicago Blackhawks this offseason. So just to recap, at number 5, figure out the defense plan. Number 4, figure out the second line center plan. Number 3, draft a cornerstone forward for Bedard. And number 2, hire a fantastic head coach to lead us into the future. And number 1, find elite help for Bedard's wing. So those are my 5 keys to success for the Chicago Blackhawks to have a dream offseason and really come out swinging come October. Thank you so much for watching. I'll have more videos soon. My next video will be my 2025 Stanley Cup bracket predictions for the playoffs. I'm really excited to share that with all of you. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.